Welcome to Third Sunday Tea Talk Show.
Thank you.
Welcome to Third Sunday Tea Talk Show, where we educate, advocate, and celebrate. You are in for an exceptional show on today. But before we start the show, I must welcome my absolutely phenomenal, amazing co-host, Evangelist Carolyn Lassane. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me.
She does this to me every month, and I giggle every single time because but I love her. When I tell you that, this woman of God, who just happens to be my actual blood cousin, we share a bloodline, is just phenomenal. So when she gives it to me, I give it right back to her. So to God be the glory. For though I'm seeing some beautiful women of God on this line today. My God, everybody's makeup is popping. I'm like, look at y'all, looking just fabulous. So I just say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't pay me any mind. I have been on 9,000 since early this morning. So who knows what the Lord is going to do. But I am just so grateful for this opportunity. And I give kudos to my cousin, the founder and the visionary for Third Sunday Tea Talk Show, no other than Dr. Akita Pearson. Hats off to you, cousin, because you are fabulous and absolutely amazing in all that you do.
It is all God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so delighted today to be celebrating the month of July, the month that I was born, and I'm still celebrating. So I was grateful. I got to share this today. My pastor gave me this beautiful teacup today. So I just want to say thank you. I love my church family. And my pastor. So kudos to St. James and Pastor Anissa Johnson. But on today, we are going to truly be educated and blessed on this third Sunday. We have the absolutely amazing, phenomenal Dr. T with us on today. Let's give it up for Dr. T. Welcome to the show, Dr. T.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I'm very happy to join these lovely women, and I'm thankful. There are many things I could be doing on a Sunday, but I am very happy to be here. This is important to me, and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, wow. When I heard about you through a young man who I consider my brother, Darius Stanton, and I said, Darius, I'm going to get her on the show. You don't have to say anything else. The Lord is just going to bless me with her. And you just have a phenomenal story, just a wealth of knowledge. And on Third Sunday Tea Talk Show, we bring the good news. And a part of bringing the good news, of course, is educating our listening and viewing audience. And I am just so excited to let you go ahead and just tell us a little bit of about Dr. T, who you are. And we're really going to just take a deep dive into all the various things that you are connected to and what you have to offer. And the offerings that you provide, they are absolutely amazing. Master herbalist, master midwife. I am just so excited for this learning experience. So we're celebrating meaningful learning experience on today, y'all. I'm so excited. Go ahead, Dr. T. Tell us a little bit about
Oh,
yourself.
okay. So I will say this: there's when I began my journey, it was about 25 years ago. And I started in the state of Florida, had a license there. And as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So this is an evolving process, being a midwife. And then back then, you didn't have to go to school to become a naturopath. You signed up and took some classes, and they didn't really give a license. And so the name Dr. T came along with others giving me that title as time had went on. I want to make it very clear to the audience, I'm not an allopathic doctor. I am on the holistic side, and I do a lot of natural work and working with self-care. Um, but we had a lot of challenges in our communities, and you know some of them. I'm sure there are people we can think of that have outstanding issues with their health and challenges like diabetes and high cholesterol. And so some of these things would come in the form of a woman wanting to have a baby. And so I learned I couldn't just deliver a baby and learn about maternal health without learning about these other things. Um, so the interest took off in the direction of learning from various other practitioners, people from different countries, studying abroad. And I just kept adding and adding and adding. So the credential list got pretty long, but I just want to stay humble and give all the credit to God, honestly, because it was a work in progress. I had some amazing teachers and, and people like you who just are out there busy making a way for someone like me to come and present. So I'm just very thankful for that. I like questions. I like interaction. I like to talk about the things that nobody else wants to talk about. I like the hard questions. And I look for the healing. That's one of the most important things to me is not to refer you off to someone else, but to heal the body and to watch what the design has been able to do in the way of healing itself. That's we are created fearfully and wonderfully, and I believe that. And I see evidence of that all the time. And I just want to share it. So I'm sharing the good news on the day of you having the good news. And we are the good news. That's the good news.
That's right. That's right. So those of you who are just joining Third Sunday Tea Talk Show, thank you for joining us today. This is where we educate, celebrate, and advocate. And we're here with Dr. T. And she just gave us just a little snippet of who she is. But if we could start off with natural healing arts and contemporary medicine, if you could just share with us what really is it? What is holistic healing when we hear that holistic healing, natural healing arts, and contemporary medicine? Let's start there.
And that's great. So the question is, what is natural healing arts compared to contemporary medicine? Contemporary medicine oftentimes includes pharmaceutical, initiating an appointment with a physician or a specialist. And typically you go in and say, I feel this way. And they say, well, here, let me prescribe this and see if this works. In holistic medicine, you have to concentrate a little bit different. You would come in and you would say, I'm feeling this way. And I would say, well, let me get some more information about your history. And I always ask the question, what have you been eating? So to me, the most important thing is what's going in with holistic and natural medicine, as opposed to what you can get from the outside to aid what's going on into your body. We have to recall that, just like I said, you become what you eat. It's very important that we get that concept down from the very beginning, because anything in your body, you take responsibility for putting it in. But we're here to assist and help. I am here as a holistic health consultant to help with the remedies and kind of like a Google now, because we've had to upgrade. Back in the day, if you came and asked me a question, I'd take an intake and we'd sit, and each one of the visits could easily turn into a 3-hour visit. It could be 30 minutes when you go to see your typical out of hospital or in hospital practitioners, right? That would be doctors and certain other specialists. If you go see them, you might have an appointment. It may last 30 minutes at the most. not when you come to see a holistic practitioner. I can't speak for all of them, but if you were to come and see me, we would start off with an intake, and that would include what you eat, if you're on any other medications, what your history has been with your family, and if there's any other things you want to address, and what brought you in today. What are your symptoms? What does that feel like? It used to be a thought that we were kind of underground, or because we didn't come from Yale and didn't graduate from an Ivy League school, that holistic doctors, or some people call themselves doctors, but holistic healers, that we are from the bush. I get a lot of that from some of our communities. Oftentimes it's about, did you come from the bush? So you're into, and the bush means when you're an herbalist, that you do plant-based, you're into grasses and grass juice and all that. And some of those things may be true, but the focus should be on healing. The goal is to heal the body, but the body can heal itself, is my secret to you. You hold the key to healing yourself. And I charge that behind the words of, you need to be the great physician. And you know the rest of it if you ever been to Luke, if you haven't, take a look at it. But I'm just a supplier to meet the need, to watch the miracle of what God designed. And I'm hardcore about it, just because I'm committed as much as you're committed to see the result. That's how it works. I can't give you a pill and promise you this pill is going to work. But if we get together and I get enough information on you, I just rely on that feedback to say, you know what? This is something that I think is going to be the best way for you to go. And we try it. And sometimes we may have to modify it. But I guarantee you one thing, you're going to feel better than when you came into my space, because that's what healing does. It pops off on you. If you ever been around somebody who just has this energy on them, like you, it pops off through the screen, and the next thing you know, it's contagious. And then all of us women are in here giggling and laughing and saluting. And why? Because it popped off. So
Absolutely.
I wait for the healing to pop off, and then I get my instructions and I know what to do. But once we sync up, it's a ride, girl. It's a ride. And I just am thankful that God chose me to be in this profession.
This is
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful. And I think I was enlightened some years ago. There was a young lady who had been diagnosed with cancer, and she and I just have so many people that I call my mentors, and some of them don't even know that they're my mentors. But Reverend Dr. Karen Bethia, and well, she does know that I consider her my mentor. And the young lady was from her church, and she wanted to go to this center that focused on that. And I don't know whether it was insurance, didn't have enough insurance or whatever, but that's what she wanted. She wanted to do the holistic healing for this condition that she had been diagnosed with. And it was in another state outside of Maryland. And they raised the funds to send her there. When she came back, she was cancer free.
Yeah.
So that made me a believer at that particular time. I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe this. But it's true. And recently, I started this. I've always been kind of conscious of my health, but being raised in the South on a farm, you learn and you're in a culture, but when you know better, as my dear sister Carole Campbell, who's with me today, you do better. So as I learned and became an adult, I've been very conscientious of my diet. And so I'm on a what's called a metabolic regimen of just plant-based foods, and I'm learning so much about that. And yet again, what you said when you opened up, that's what the facilitators of this session, they constantly say, you are what you eat. And you start changing your diet and just eating the leafy greens. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to the bathroom a little bit too much. So the next time we met, because we don't meet every day, right. And I was like, okay, so what's going on? Because I'm using the restroom more than I normally. Well, it's a natural detox. You're supposed to go. I said, well, I never, knew that. So talk to us a little bit, Dr. T, about when we're trying to do better by our temples, through changing our diets and looking at it from a holistic perspective, because I know you're going to get into the mental health. I can't wait for that and how all of that gels together. But how we can take small steps to get to a goal where we can be in our best of health, not necessarily based on what is publicized on TV with all the meat and all that kind of stuff, but truly what holistic health is all about.
Okay, great. So I classify myself, like I said, maternal health expert. That means women's health. That's my specialty. But like I said, once a woman would come in for different things, and I want to also give credit. I am wearing a T-shirt that says Black Birth is Revolution. And the reason I'm wearing this T-shirt, I'll make sure everybody can see it, is because I connect myself with the United Black Birth Collective, and we're an organization of 4 women who are serious about changing some of these dynamics through birth work in our communities. So one of the things, and listening to you first, you're a living testimony, right? Because people they don't want to eliminate, because we've been taught that elimination is smelly. Ew, that's bad. I got this going on. And so it's supposed to stay in there. And I look at them, they're like, no, it's not supposed, it shouldn't stay. I said, once you smelt and saw and you start to realize that you have to start loving on your body different and get used to it. It's just like dating. You want to date your system. You want to date your body. You want to sit with it and kind of get to know it. You want to ask it hard questions and see what the feedback is. And if it continues to dump and keep dumping and keep dumping, that lets you know, okay, something ain't right. But at the same time, if it doesn't come out, then guess what you got, ladies? You stuck with something in there. So if there's something coming out, you already know that you're headed in the right direction, because that's when it's hard. It's hard to accept that I would have put something in my body to cause it harm, and I knew I did it. So we'll hook around to that being part of the mental health piece later on. But simple steps to wellness, water. That's my first one. When I saw you with that teacup, I said, she is there. Oh, come on, hold them up, y'all. Come on. I'm gonna go there. I got my water here. And I know the other, I think it's Mama Woodson. I know you holding on to something, but I got you right here. You with me. I can tell by the smile on her face. She get that water in now. I know, I just feel it. And so I have rocks in here. And I used to tell people the reason I put the rocks in here, that started a long time ago with replenishing minerals. So the science behind that basically is I was looking at geography and landscapes. I traveled quite a bit, and in the US only, really. And I noticed that it takes centuries for rocks to be made. So they have a story. And each one of the layers to form a rock before it gets from this small, like a little crystal, all the way to here, to a bigger rock. Each one of those serve as hundreds of years of formations and lots of minerals from the soil. And I started realizing, well, if I take this little rock and I put it in my water, what'll happen? So you basically took earth element and added to water element. And we thank God the two of them coexist together to start making mineralized water. So a long time ago, when I was even young as a child, we had a creek. And we had loved it when winter came, because when it melted, that was some of the best water coming off those Carolina rocks, honey, I tell you. And we would go and get some of that good water, but we can't do that now, because we'll go to the sink and we'll use what's called city water, purified, whatever. It's been put through some systems and things, and you get a result of what we call water. It doesn't taste anything like my creek water, but we do what we can. We filter it, and now we buy it. So there's a commercial aspect to healthcare that I think we need to talk about, because one of the biggest encumbrances to getting well when I'm dealing with someone is they'll say, okay, you're giving me all this stuff and I can't afford it. Do you take insurance? So one of the big things that happens with holistic healthcare, naturopathic healthcare, is being able to afford it. Like, I know people who will tell me stories like, well, I went to this person, I got all these vitamins and things, but I couldn't keep up with it, and that's why I stopped. And I say, but how did you feel? Oh, I felt great. I just couldn't afford to keep doing it. That's a heartbreaker for me. That's a heartbreaker. So my goal is hopefully to, even on something as simple as this, empower you to know that you can still, little simple steps. I loved your word, just like little teeny things to twist this around to start boosting your healthcare. But we do not drink enough water. So water is my biggest thing. It's hard for people to drink water. I've heard I don't like the flavor of it too. I know I don't drink enough, but so it's not important to you until something hurts. So that's how we get spoken to. Just like I said, you have to date your body until something hurts your heart. You're not going to sit down and get real still and listen to it. You got to start listening and pay attention, because we don't control, as healthcare healers. I can't control what you put in your mouth, but I can certainly tell you what will happen over time and hopefully help invest in you being better by the knowledge I have. I didn't get this knowledge just because I need to keep it to myself. I like to share. I'm a sharer.
I know
And
that's right.
as it was given unto me, I want to give it back unto you. And I feel like that's how we get, like I said, that's that energy popping again. Once we make that connection, that's just knowing that you're going to get better and somebody cares, I think is big too. And so in our community, we have a lack of love. If I had a cure and a remedy I could put in a bottle that just said extra love to be given
Mm,
out, that would be the other part that we need to talk about in that mental health piece.
yes.
Um, until we get down to that part of, I ate this because of what? And is it really serving me? And I eat brownies and stuff too. I like to make them homemade, or a chocolate or whatever. But I also know, much like you giving your testimony, plant-based works better for me. But if you're going to eat certain things, there's some things now, and I call them like the 5 or 6 W's, that we just know are not good for us anymore. And we need to just stop eating them. And so you're looking for that person who's going to be honest with you and just tell you, you shouldn't be eating that. You need to stop eating it. So what are we going to do about not eating that anymore? So I take baby steps because it's just a process, and you have to walk it out. But I always say, the longer the process and the harder it is for someone to adapt to trying to get better, I usually see the biggest results and the greatest miracles. Like that story you told about the cancer cure.
Mhm.
It's always something like that. It's the effort behind that energy of her being determined. It's her determination and her desire to want to see that happen is the same as touching the garment, and getting healed. Like this woman wanted it bad enough to have
Yes.
that happen in her life, and she's going to manifest it any way she can. And so she found a way in a body that's going to help her get there. She's going to do it. And I believe in women like that. We have the ability to do that.
I love it. For those of you who may just be joining us, welcome to Third Sunday Tea Talk Show. We are here with Dr. T, and we are truly being educated on today. So, did I hear, and maybe you didn't say it this way, but did I hear that holistic health involves love? And I'm thinking that we could move into the area of holistic health also being loved, aspects of love, and mental health. How does mental health plays a role into holistic health?
Mm. That is a loaded 3-part question, ladies. I'm going to do my best. So, if you love yourself, I really believe this. If you love yourself, you're not going to hurt yourself. So what we have here is something going on where if I know I'm doing harm versus I didn't know I was causing harm. And I find that that's what happens when there's a need to be healed, or a need to talk about something that's breaking down in the system, or I just want to upgrade on my health care. My hair is falling out and I don't understand why. When you come to someone like me, um, and you say, my hair is falling out, that's an example. But even at the beginning of that, I'll say, we talk about what you eat and talk about your history. Does, anyone in your family had this before? Have you had all these other things? And there's a whole list of things we'll go through. But I also get to the point of thinking, one thing about being in this lovely skin that we're in is when I was a little girl, my hair grew the most after I would get it cornrowed, right? And we take those cornrows out, you see all that new growth. And you be like, what's all this new growth? But anybody, anybody, even in those movies and pictures and like Little House on the Prairie, you'll see that Laura Ingalls used to take this brush every night before she go to bed and start stroking her hair. You have to touch it. You have to touch it. You have to put life into it. So part of loving, that is an example of it, is just being able to touch your hair. Are you putting love into it? Being able to touch yourself in a way that's healthy and feel good about it. Are you putting lotion on? I know you don't come out the house without putting something on your arms and your legs, lady. I know you try to pick some of the best soaps, maybe the one that they advertise that has like 2/3 cream in it. Everybody knows that brand because we all like it. But at the end of the day, getting in touch with saying it's okay and giving yourself permission to experience a more wholly developed way of communicating with your skin alone. It's the largest organ of your body is your skin. So I don't try to throw too much scientific data out there without giving you a reason for why. And so when you talked about love and loving self, the mind has to be ready to say and to invite the opportunities for healing. If you are resistant to something that you're being asked to do, is it because you don't know, or is it because you do know? Because when you don't know, sometimes you just get humble and you say, help, how do I do it? But when you do know, that's dealing with the will. And the will is where your choices are made. When you don't know, you fumble through things until you find yourself in a great place. Hopefully, you might hit some mistakes and bumps along the way and incur a couple little scars. But when you do know, now that's the battleground right there, because that's saying, I will to do this. I choose to do this. And that's where the body has its own spirit. It's going to have a little conflict there. And that's when you start seeing the results of the choices. And a lot of people struggle with those things. And I'm like, no, that's directly related to your mental health. Because if you start feeling anxiety, if you start feeling, I use the example of hair falling out, that's stress. A lot of times, even though we diagnose it as a lack of vitamin E, hormonal changes, there's still a stress factor going on in that system of hormones or in that system of disease or dis-ease that needs to be addressed. And then when you can reset that and make other choices, then will falls into, I can do this. I just didn't know. And I think that most people, honestly, we want to get to we didn't know. We don't want to be over here with, I knew it, but I chose not to. We just didn't know.
That's good. That is good. That is really, really, really good. Those of you who may have just joined, thank you for joining Third Sunday Tea Talk Show, where we educate, advocate, and celebrate. And we are here with Dr. T. And let me tell you, I am truly having a wonderful time being educated on today. We want to move a little bit before we open up, because I know people have a lot of questions and comments and all of that. And I want to make sure I provide enough time for that. Because our time goes really, really quickly. We're at the halfway mark already. But one of the things that your gifts and talents really enlighten me to is being a master midwife. So can you share with us your journey in that? I look at that process and giving childbirth as being very sacred, and even more so being my daughter, who mentioned to me a few years ago that she wants to do a whole lot of things, but one of the things was supporting women with midwives and providing an oasis, is what she calls it, for that experience. So yes. Share.
Okay. Oh, that's my passion. I've delivered a lot of babies, and I tread light on my language just because it's emotional. That is a rite of passage for all women to have a child. And when we embark on that journey, we go into it with optimism. It doesn't matter if it was a surprise baby or if it was a choice in time and we scheduled it and we're right on target with our schedule and agenda, having a child and knowing that you are going to plan that requires support. And I think when we began that journey, I've never met a woman that wasn't like just kind of in that state of, wow, my body's really going to do this. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, your body's really going to do this. And it wouldn't matter to me what that support looks like, but the mom is going to need support. And even when she starts out, even in the idea of, I have to do this all by myself, you're never going to do this all by yourself. Even the baby's going to come out and be a part of your life. And it's going to be two people instead of one. So you don't really do it by yourself because they have this way of taking whatever you got that's really good when you start putting it in your body, and they take it and they keep it and they grow with it. And then if they don't need something, they kick it out and they go, here, you keep that, mom. I don't need that part. I just want the chicken. I just want the greens. Or if you're all plant-based there, I just want to eat this part of it. I only want this part or the yams or whatever. But so we have a developmental stage that we go through for this, what I call a rite of passage. Even before we get pregnant and we're going to have a child into our family, we had a lot of other rite of passages. And like I told you, that mental health piece is critical because you can't give to somebody something you don't have.
That's
And
right.
that reality should not be experienced upon the time you're about to have a baby. That's about where it gets real, real, real. It's different when you're watching your nieces and nephews. It's different when you're, partaking in other types of relationships with my sisterhood and your sisterhood. You're my sister. Um, this is a rite of passage. And however this child is coming into your life, because now things are so challenged in different areas. But when I use the word challenge, it's in an optimistic way, not in a way of hardship,
Mhm.
but it pushes you to be creative. It pushes you to be intuitive. And one thing pregnancy does is it forces you to go within, and you find whatever you needed to do to make that a good experience, you're going to develop it. And you got 10 months to do it, not 9. Everybody says 9. I'm like, no, you got 10. 40 weeks is 10 months. And so you have almost a year to make sense and make peace with a process that's an unchangeable when it goes from start to finish. But the ending result is outstanding. So one of the things to me, and answering your question is, I love being a midwife. I love training other midwives. As I said before, I'm part of the United Black Birth Collective, UBBC. It's a great organization that focuses on, again, trying to build and restore and keep our communities moving forward in healthy, happy ways when bringing our babies in. Um, you know, um, but again, I really am grateful to be here because I don't often get asked about why that's such a passion of mine. And like I said, I think it's this high. I'm addicted to babies being born. I confess it. I am addicted. I am an addict.
Well,
Yes,
that's a good
I'm an addict.
addiction.
It's high stakes, high rolling stakes, but I'm in for the bet, I'm in for the win, but I'm addicted to it, right? Like after all this time, even after you have your own, and I have women say, well, I ain't having no more babies, so I don't need your services. And I'm thinking, don't be so sure. I said, well, women care too. So you don't just have a baby and then you just be somebody. No, we stick around. We're here after the baby's born too, and I like it when I can even have some of my younger young women who start off learning about their bodies when they're 13 and 14 years old. We know that they can have children at that age. Most of us
Mhm.
cringe at the thought of it, but hey, you got to be real. Somebody has to fill in that information and let them know. Did you know it's a rite of passage that
Mhm.
you are gifted with to become a young lady and get this gift to be able to conceive, and then someone is there to support you, and then you grow into an older woman, and we can't make choices for them even at the age of 14. If they want to have a baby, if they have a baby, they're going to have a baby. I've delivered 16-year-olds before, but I feel like I said, it's this rite of passage that gets overlooked sometimes. And I think that's where that mental health piece comes in, and that's where those stressors come from. And so we have to be aware of what we do as older women. What does it look like? Are we saying good things and happy things when we see our grandchildren come running through the door?
Mhm.
Or are we looking at the pregnancies a little different and saying, well, if you'd have waited a little bit, it might not have been so hard. Hey, you can't unwind that clock. So I jump to the joy real quick because, the unchangeables, let God deal with that. We need to just be happy and move forward and give that love and say, welcome to this rite of passage. Because look, all those things that I have heard people say prior to the baby coming, I've heard some crazy stuff too, some threatening things and some wild things. But once that baby comes out, they don't remember saying any of that. And if they did, they're not going to say it again. I just
Well,
want to kiss the baby. I just want to smell the baby. Yeah, I know you do. I know I'm watching you. I remember you 2 weeks ago, but now that the baby's here, can I hold the baby? The baby changes everything. Babies change everything.
Well, this is wonderful. We have gone from understanding what natural healing arts is, contemporary medicine, dealing with holistic healing and the mental health piece, midwifery. I think that may be the proper term,
Yeah.
a new term for me. And now
Beautiful.
we are ready for some questions. And I want to open it up to questions and comments from my co-host first. So, Evangelist Carolyn, you haven't said anything except for welcoming everybody to the show. So now it's your turn.
All ears.
Honestly, I'm just enjoying the show. This is a area I'm not a vegan. I'm not a plant based person. But I do know that it's definitely what you take in to do, and I love what you said. Date your body, date your system,
Mhm.
and if you
Yes.
love yourself, you won't hurt yourself. So I loved so many of the different things that you said, and I am a true believer in holistic. And as I'm getting older, I'm in that 50 plus category. That I know that there are definitely some things that I need to do within my own self and with my body, just so that I can be here a little while longer. Amen. I wake up a
Amen.
little bit with some little aches and pains that I didn't wake up with a couple years ago, and I'm just enjoying this. One thing I will ask, please put your information, Dr. T, and I know you have tons of information that you can share with us. There was one thing, there was a thought that came in, but I'm gonna save it for the defining moment. So if anybody else has any questions, I would say, because you all know I could just start talking and I'll be talking for the next 22 minutes. So if if anybody has any questions for our amazing guest here, please, you can put them in the chat for us, so that we can. All right. So I don't see any questions in. So for
But
and
Carol has her hand raised.
oh,
She can
I'm
come off
so
of mute.
sorry,
Come off of
Carol.
mute, my sister.
The beautiful Carol. I told her she is just looking like a model today. Glowing. Just glowing, my sister. I'm so sorry I missed your hand up. Go ahead, Carol.
I'm sorry. And thank you for the compliment. Dr.
Hey,
T,
beautiful.
Hey.
Dr. T, you are my new girlfriend. Talk. I love it. I am a maternal child nurse. Okay, so I love you. I love you. I love you. I love
Love
you. I
you
love you.
too.
Yes, with
Oh.
dear. Sure. My sisters Carolyn, my sister Dr. Akita. But I was so excited when I saw this. I said, I don't care what I'm doing, I'm showing up.
Amen. We're
Thank you
Yes,
happy
for the
you're here.
support.
I'm telling you
Mhm.
because, and you are so right, your points straight on, just about just taking care of your body, the hydration, everything, but then also your mind,
Yeah.
mental, the whole thing. It is just so wonderful. And it's then on top of it, especially with what's going on now as it continues with
Mhm.
COVID. But this is what I'm seeing. Um, I can't say who I work with, but I could just say that what I have seen and what I
Mhm.
continue to see, it just affects every aspect of
Absolutely.
your life. And what you are
Mm,
putting in your body affects your child. What you think,
mm,
Mhm.
so a man thinks, so he is. So as a woman, especially as she is in that, like you say, that stage, and you know as the baby is developing, but what you have, who you have around you as you're taking care of this child that you're
Mhm.
carrying. So
mm,
it is such a blessing to have someone like you to share this
mm.
knowledge. Like I gleaned from you, because I take that back. And please drop your information, because definitely need to know where you're at. Because
Yes. Okay. May I respond?
Absolutely.
Okay, blessings and peace. Thank you so much. I had put my name up, and some of you see the beginning, dr.midwife at the last part of that is live.com. That's my email. You can email me anytime. Please feel free to email. Some people may have questions they don't want to post. This is an intimate topic, right? Um, and then outside of that, feel free to anything. I'll come out. This is like I told you, this is my honor to be here. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm thankful to be a guest on your show. Because you're known for doing some amazing things yourself, Dr. Pearson, and your lovely co-host and all the sisters. I just watched them showing support, and that makes me feel real good, real good. So thank you. Yeah. I didn't know if there was any other questions because I can continue, but I just want to make sure we've heard from everybody.
Well, I know Mother Hattie, I know she has a comment or something to say today because based on what she shared earlier, it was right on point for what we're doing today. Can you get off of mute for a second?
Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go. There you
All
go.
right. Thank you. I
Yes,
am
ma'am.
a mother of nine, mother of three, mother of three, um, grandmother of nine,
Nice.
great grandmother of 13,
What?
great grandmother of one, and one on the
Okay.
way. Now, you said something about what people say when you first find out the baby is coming.
Yeah.
Well, my great granddaughter has a son. And when she informed me a couple of weeks ago that she was pregnant again, I'm like, honey, what are you doing? You don't need, you have one, and what's this and that and other. But when these babies settle in that stomach, you
Damn.
just can't wait till they come out now. Now I'm calling her every other day, ask you, how do you feel? You want anything? You craving anything?
Yeah.
It's amazing. And
That's
to
right.
bring those babies into this world, that must be awesome.
It is.
Bless you. I bless you.
Thank you.
I bless you for the wonderful thing that you're doing. And
Mm.
I love Dr. Akita.
I
I love
I
you too.
I
Mhm.
I
just
love
took
you
her as
too.
one of mine when she came to St. James. And
Oh.
I almost didn't make it back home in time. And then I remember, oh, I got to get on. I got to get on. And when I got on, the kids, grandkids, three of them here now. And when I got on, they were making so much noise, I had to get off and shoo them away. And then Dr. Pearson says, please come back on. I said, I'm coming back on. So I'm back on, but I enjoyed every minute.
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed this.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Dr. T.
Oh, girl, I could eat this one up like caramel. Look at here, look at here. That is that old school matriarchal magic that humbles you. And then she
Yes.
starts speaking, everybody else get quiet. You know, like that E.F. Hutton commercial back in the day. E.F. Hutton, everybody got quiet.
Everybody got quiet.
Everybody got quiet. And so we didn't stop at the great and the great grand. So I know, I feel like in my heart, you probably knew about some home births back in the day.
Oh
Maybe,
yeah, not
see what
with
I'm
mine,
saying?
but with
Others,
others.
others,
Yes,
absolutely. You
yes,
couldn't have been
yes.
around this long and not heard of at least one home birth. And
Right.
a lot of women are choosing that now. And I'm a traditional midwife and I love doing it. Wouldn't matter to me where you birth as long as we got safety, health, and a sterile
Exactly.
environment. But at the same time, I'm just taken back by the numbers. So I'll tell you, 13 is my favorite number, which is
Well, that's
funny.
my
You said,
favorite also.
oh, honey, and I have my reasons for that. That's deeply, deeply, that's a good number. And then also the three, I have a lot of nines and threes in my whole, everything just pops up in
Mhm.
threes and nines. I got this Trinity thing going on all the time around me. And your wise words, I just want you to know I appreciate you and I take it deep, 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 deep down, way down. Just being able to talk to
Yeah.
you, Mama Hattie, I don't have any more words except I don't want to see you face to face because I'm gonna start crying. I know how I am. I'm terrible. I tell people I'm emotional and I'm a woman and I don't hide it for anybody. It
That's
comes out,
right.
comes out.
That's
And it's
right.
just so
Oh,
one
by the
thing I
way, one of my three, I passed my middle child, which was my son. He passed not last year, he passed 5 years ago.
mm,
Um, August the 13th will be 5 years. And I miss him as much today as I did
mm.
before. But I just I just can't imagine you bringing one of these babies in.
I just
Oh,
want to tell, I want to
oh
tell you
wow.
my last comment is a compliment to you, and it is
Mm.
this. She mentioned almost 4 generations,
Mm-hmm.
It's
and she
five of
said it.
us,
Look, I don't
five
even know that.
generations.
Yes, ma'am. 5 generations. I
Me,
don't
my
know.
son, my son, his daughter, her daughter, and her granddaughter.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is, even right now, I don't know that my mental is sharp enough to do that. Because I lost count of how many cousins had babies and stuff over
I
time.
know,
So
I know.
your mind, I want that. I'm asking for that. I'm asking the Most High to give me that because if I can do that at whatever beautiful age you are past 50, honey,
80, I'm
stop shaming.
80,
Look, y'all, she gonna put me to shame for sure. I better go get my
80
ginkgo.
years
Hey, look,
old.
let me get my ginkgo out, my mushrooms going.
I
I
don't
want to say,
mind telling it. I'm 80
honey,
years old, and
that's beautiful.
yeah.
I want some Mama Hattie tablets. You got some little pills to take. Where your happy pills at? Hattie's happy pills. I'm gonna get some of that. Maybe that'll be my next
Okay,
message to y'all.
okay.
Absolutely. Do we have time for one more question or
Yes,
comment?
ma'am.
Is there
Sure.
anyone else who has a question or a comment that they would like to share? You can come off of mute. You can put your question or comment in the chat.
I have a question.
Okay.
Hi, Dr. Pearson.
Hey, how
Hey,
are
Sister
you?
Barbara.
Yes.
I'm doing pretty good. Of course, well, Hattie is my niece. I was married to her uncle, who passed away this past April. But
Yes.
but what I wanted to ask the doctor, I'm not pregnant or anything like that. But what I wanted to find out when you said about the rock in the water, I didn't follow that. I am a water freak. I have
Yeah.
my water wherever I go, whereas most people have their American Express card. I have my bottled water. So
Okay.
could you just tell me about the rock? And the reason that I was asking is, Hattie, I don't know if you remember, but some years ago, before after you gave me the marbles, you gave me a black holy rock, and I still have
Yeah,
that. And I
yeah.
wanted to find out could I put that in my water?
That particular rock in water,
That's what I was asking the doc. Yes. Or
I'm
what
sure.
rock?
So I don't know what the black rock was, meaning if it's cold, you're going to end up getting some charcoal type stuff. And so
Right.
when you say black, I'm not sure if it was like an obsidian, a black
I
glass type stone. I'm not sure if it was volcanic, because usually most of the rocks that are black are volcanic rocks, and they have a whole lot of what they call fulvic acid in them.
Okay.
Um, but I will say
I
this, if you
wouldn't, because we don't know the origin of that rock.
Right.
That's right. But anytime you want to discover whether it would be good or not, just sample it out and see if like if you put the rock in water and you can see that it has residue or something in it, that
Yes.
might be an indication that you don't want to drink that.
Okay,
But if
because it
you
should be
put
clear, correct?
but yeah,
Right.
so when you look at these rocks, you can clearly see they're not gonna change.
Right.
And I
Yes.
want to tell you part of that too, in just 30 seconds or less, is like this one was when I was driving through New Mexico. And
Okay.
these are just plain old Carolina stones, right? Like my people are from the Carolinas, north
And
and
my people
south.
are from Virginia.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So that's the southern states. And
Yes.
I tend to gravitate towards, like, much like Dr. Pearson said, and her doing the greens and things. I like that red clay. The red clay gave
Yeah.
me
Oh,
confidence.
yes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
honey,
Yeah.
red
Yes.
clay can save your life if you're anemic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so this is how this white rock got rust colored, is because of the red Carolina clay. So this mineral concoction right here over time, I'm sure it's done me really, really good. Like my blood pressure's low. Um, I try to drink as much as I can a day. Half a gallon is nothing. I'm like you. We drink a lot of water, but
Yes.
I do believe just that one thing is, as a discipline, can change so much in your life, with or without the rocks. But I
Okay.
just wanted to say, those are the benefits of having the rocks. I usually travel different places. If I can get a rock and clean it off real good, I
Yes.
feel like I'm taking in part of my immune system, what they have in that area.
Yes.
So that's the
Yes.
story behind that.
And
Yeah.
like I said, I'm a water freak, and then I'm into chair yoga, which I do every day because I just turned 76, the 6th of July. And I do my NutriBullet with my greens and my fruit, and I also add the whey protein. And that was because when I started going to my senior classes before I moved here in 2021, because I lived in New York for the last 31 years.
Okay.
I was going to a senior center, and I would just hear a lot of the ladies talking about this whey and protein and how they make the smoothies with the NutriBullet. And
Yeah.
I find that it really does work for me. But my problem now is I can't walk as much as I like to walk because I'm in the hood and I'm kind of nervous about it because I've been coming back and forth to Baltimore. But now since I moved to Baltimore, um, I've been in this neighborhood for the last 70 some years, but it wasn't like this when I was growing up.
Oh no.
It wasn't
It's
like this when
changed.
I left.
Yeah.
Right.
So now it's real hard for me. So sometimes I have to get on the bus and ride downtown to let's say Utah and Saratoga, and then I will walk down to the public works, where you pay your water bill, which is on Holiday Street and Lexington. But that gives me momentum to keep going because I don't like sitting around. If I sit around, then I know I'm going to get lazy because I'm used to moving around.
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
now I'll be glad when the weather gets a little cooler, then maybe, the corners won't be as crowded and I might could take a chance and walking around here. But right now, that's what I do. I get on the bus and I just take a ride downtown and then get off and then just walk. And sometimes I end up at the beginning of the harbor and then I'll walk back up Charles Street and then I'll take the bus and come home. I'm not a house person. I can't, I just don't like staying in the house. It just seems, and now, especially since my husband is gone, I really can't stay in the house. So I really have to get out.
Yeah.
Right. That's
That's
true.
good. That's
That's
really,
true.
really, really good. Thank you all who have shared and asked questions and had comments. We are so delighted, Dr. T. Thank you for being
Yes.
with us on
So
today.
welcome.
We
Just
are
beautiful.
down to the end. Make sure that you all look her up at dr.midwife@live.com. And if you're not able to get that at this time, you can, how everybody knows how to reach me. So I can give you all of her information. She is a master herbalist, master midwife. She is a health and wellness counselor. She is tied into many, 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 many many work networks. Sorry about that. Networks. And so we're just so delighted to have you. We are down to our defining moments. Evangelist Carolyn, what do you have to inspire us with on today?
Amen. To God be the glory. Again, thank the Lord for Dr. T. In this world today where we turn on the news and we're seeing about all the deaths, it is
Yeah.
very inspiring to have someone who's talking about life. And
Mm.
um, last week I just did my podcast, and the topic was live. Live.
Mm.
That's what the one
Wow.
word that God gave me was live. Hallelujah. And
Yeah.
of course, we know that He's come that we might have life and that more abundantly. And also, I shall not die, but live to
Yes.
declare the works
Yes.
of the Lord. But as she was speaking and we were talking about the mental health aspect, I just want to piggyback off of that for just a second. 1 Corinthians 16 and 14. Let all that you do be done in love. That's the New King James Version. And I share that all the time. Each day when I'm sending out the inspirational text, I'm always saying, someone that you encounter, someone that you meet is going through something that you know nothing about.
That's
So
right.
just
Right.
be kind.
That's
And
right.
as she just shared, that mental aspect of we first you got to love on yourself. So
Yes.
date
Exactly.
yourself, love yourself, be kind to yourself, and then as I always say, share that Jesus joy with
Yes.
somebody else. If
Yes.
God
Mm.
allowed you to have another day, that
Yes.
means that you have purpose, you have hope. So share that hope,
That's
share
right.
that joy, share that peace, share that
Mm.
love with someone else,
Yes.
because each one of us on this screen, on this call, you're going to encounter someone that the other won't. And
Yes.
each
Mhm.
one of you has a grand opportunity. If you don't say nothing more than God loves you and so do I, you
So
have
do
no
I.
idea how much
That's
that
right.
can change the mindset of a
Yes.
person. So,
Yes.
my
Mm-hmm.
admonishment to everyone on here, as she said, date yourself, love yourself, but let all that you do be done in love.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. I
Wow.
receive. I receive. I receive
Let
that.
all that you do it in love. So
Yes.
Yeah.
share love as we leave here on today. Make sure you share love. Thank you for joining Third Sunday Tea Talk
Thank
Show,
you.
where we educate, advocate, and we celebrate. We will meet
Yeah.
everyone back here next third Sunday. God bless you.
God
God
Bless
bless
you.
bless
you as
Thank
well.
you.
Bye.
Thank
God
you.
bless you all.
God
you.
bless you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.